Welcome to I Am Well podcast. I am your host, Gemma, a nutritionist and mindset coach passionate about all things health and wellness. I'm going to take you on a journey to discovering what health means for you and how to create a life you love living. I'm on a mission to uplift those who feel overwhelmed with what it means to be healthy, reminding you, my listeners, that nutrition is only one aspect of health, and empower you to live your best life on your terms. Let's get to it. Hello and welcome back to I Am Well podcast. I hope everyone is having a great day. I hope everyone's been having a really good week. I can't believe we are already in May. I'm pretty sure I said this last month about April. So time is going way too fast and I'm like, oh, slow down because I cannot keep up at the moment. I don't know how anyone else is feeling, but it's just insane, really. So what is going on in my life? Like, I just feel like, as I said, it's been busy. I just feel like I can't keep up, but it's all good busy. It's exactly what I want. I don't feel stressed, but we are going to talk about that today. But I do feel like I am getting to know my body more when it feels stressed, even though I don't think I'm stressed, if that makes sense. Because it's such a difference. Like, I think I remember when I was a skin therapist and I would ask my clients this and I'd be like, are you quite stressful every day? And they would say, no, I don't really. No, I have a pretty chill life. I don't really get stressed. But until you actually start measuring your stress levels, I think like a lot of people would be surprised as to actually how stressed their bodies really were, because I didn't even realize myself. Like just scrolling on your phone, like just scrolling on your phone on like TikTok or anything like that is actually causing you stress without you even knowing, because your brain doesn't know the difference, right? So like you're going to be like scrolling and looking through, and say you might see something and you're like, sometimes on TikTok, I don't know if anyone else's TikTok gets this, but you get like scenes of like movies or something, and say if it's like a real suspenseful scene and it's you're wondering what's happening next, like boom, straight away you just got a hit of cortisol. And you're stressed and you don't even know it. And your brain doesn't know the difference. Your brain thinks like, oh my God, something serious is happening. I better release some cortisol so you can fight or flight, So yeah, I just thought that was like really interesting to share, because I'm all about this week and trying to regulate my stress levels, trying to bring them down. Because as I said, like I'm all about health and wellness and about how to look after yourself and take care of your health in this way. In saying that, right now I do have my balance program that the waitlist is open, and this is actually, the intake is opening on the 20th of May, and this is a 3-month group program. This 3-month group program is literally, I have created it so that you can walk away from this feeling like, oh my God, I actually understand it. I actually get it. I actually know how to implement a healthy lifestyle to myself, and everything else that you're going to see out there that confuses you, like all the diet culture, toxic nonsense, you're going to be able to put it to rest. I'm going to give you the first 2 months. We literally go week to week on Zoom calls, and I'm giving you all the tools that you need to know everything when it comes from your gut health, how to understand your blood sugar levels, how to test them, how to understand what foods actually spike them and what don't, why this is important to know, understanding your hormones as a woman, what happens. I really feel like as women, we need to be taught what happens in perimenopause and menopause as well. I truly believe that whether you're going through it or not, you should be made aware of what happens to your body, because I 100%, I bet most women out there do not know. They do not know actually what is happening in perimenopause and menopause. And the science behind it is crazy when you actually understand what's going on inside you. And you're like, why aren't we getting taught this in school? It's baffling. And it's women's health. Like, I mean, you would have heard me rant in the last episode. So anyway, yeah, so the first 2 months we are talking all this stuff. I'm also going to be talking about fasting lifestyle, why it's a lifestyle and not a diet, why it's sustainable, and why I love it and truly believe in it and wholeheartedly, because the science is there around it. And women, the results that they're getting, like women who were who had PCOS and have now reversed it, women who were weight loss resistant are now able to lose weight. You know, women who were insulin sensitive and now, insulin resistant and now insulin sensitive. Women who have type 2 diabetes have now been able to get rid of it, you know? Even women, I've literally heard women who have type 1 diabetes are now implementing a fasting lifestyle that suits them, and they are now able to use less insulin. There was literally a study done. I'll try and find it and I'll post it in the show notes below so you can see. But there was a study done on women who had type 1 diabetes. I don't know if it was women actually. It was just people who had type 1 diabetes. They implemented a fasting lifestyle that suited them, because you have to be careful with type 1 diabetes. So if anyone's type 1 diabetic, I'm not saying go out and start fasting right now, because you'd have to do it a certain way. Like, you have to do it carefully. These people, they went out and did it the proper way, where they did it slowly. They cut back their eating window, and the results that they got, they were actually able to regrow cells within their pancreas. Their pancreas was able to regrow new cells. Like, because at the end of the day with type 1 diabetes, right, something's going on with your pancreas. Like, the cells aren't working properly. The fact that you can regrow them when implementing this just shows you how powerful a fasting lifestyle can really be. Anyway, that's what I kind of went off on a tangent then. So that's what I'm teaching within the first 2 months. You're going to get all this knowledge within a portal, and you have this portal for life, so you can always come back to it. Any future, things come up, you can always come back to it. I'll always update it. You have access to it for life. In the last month, we are going to create a fasting lifestyle that suits you, and it's personalized to you, and you can now have that knowledge to create further ones for yourself. But we're all going to implement it together. And I love that, because I love being in a community of like-minded women who are all on the same mission, because it gives us all that boost of oxytocin. And oxytocin is the hierarchy of all the hormones. It's what helps balance all the other hormones. So I love that we're going to do this together. And I've also created a Facebook group as well. So anyone who joins any of my programs, you're going to be in this group for life. And it's where we'll celebrate our wins, share our knowledge, and yeah, it's a community of like-minded women who are on this journey together, and we're there to support one another. So yes, if you sign up for the waitlist now, I will actually pop you into the Facebook group without even having to sign up. So this is only happening right now for the Balance waitlist, but if you join the Balance waitlist, I will put you into that Facebook group. No questions asked. You don't have to pay up. You don't have to pay. You don't have to sign up. You get to put into that Facebook group for life. So take advantage of that. Just sign up for the waitlist. Like, what do you got to lose? At least you get into the Facebook group for free. Now, let's put that to rest, and let's talk about, this is what I want to talk about today. The 5 reasons why your diet isn't working. And there's many reasons out there, but these I feel like are the 5 most important reasons, and what we should really talk about as to why maybe your diet isn't working for you. And a lot of these reasons are actually, at the end of the day, not really your fault, because no one talks about these reasons. So, number 1 is your metabolism. Your metabolic set point. Everyone has a metabolic set point, and we don't get taught this enough. So if you're implementing a diet, I'm going to use the calorie deficit diet for example, because that is wildly popular and wildly used in every sort of nutrition and fitness program you can think of. And for the next 3 months, say it's a 3-month program, you are going to get a meal plan. You have to eat, say you're used to eating 2,000 calories, and now your dietitian or your nutritionist or whoever it is has said, we are going to cut it down to 1,500 for you within these next 3 months. And then we are going to implement a exercise program as well, which will make you burn 500 calories a day, whatever that may be. So technically your new calories that you're having each day is going to be like 1,000 calories because you're burning off the 500. And you're going to implement this for the next 3 months. So what happens is people don't realize this, but your new metabolic set point will now move from 2,000 calories to now 1,000 calories, meaning that you will lose weight because you're eating less calories and you're burning more, but you have to stay at that calorie deficit. You have to stay there in order to maintain the weight. So say if after the 3 months program, you've lost all this weight, it's working amazing for you, and you want to go out and celebrate, so you've booked a 2-week holiday away. And on the holiday, you don't really want to be in a calorie deficit diet. Yes, you're going to watch what you eat. You're not going to binge. You'll still eat as healthy as possible, but you also want to enjoy yourself. And you're not going to work out every day. So you go on this holiday, your calories end up boosting up to 2,000 calories a day. You're not working out as much, so you're not burning off those calories as much. You come back, you jump on the scales, and you're like, oh my God, what's happened? Why have I put on weight? It's because your body was trained to now have only 1,000 calories at its metabolic set point. And when you've gone away, you've eaten 2,000 and put this weight back on. And this isn't talked about enough, and it's why calorie deficit diets aren't exactly sustainable. A way to get around this is what's called metabolic switching. And this is what you learn when you're creating a fasting lifestyle, and why I love it, because it's so customizable. You can choose how to do this to your life, to whatever's going on, whatever events are happening, whatever's going on in your life, you get to choose how you want to implement this. So metabolic switching, I'm going to explain this let's talk about the 2 systems we use for energy. So we use a fat burning system and we use a sugar burning system. The sugar burning system is when we are eating something and that food item gets broken down into glucose, and then we use that energy straight away, or it gets stored. That is the sugar burning system. So that is pretty much what we're in during the day while we're eating, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Then there is the fat burning system, and the fat burning system, this can happen like as we sleep, when we're during the night. It really kicks in at the 8-hour mark though. This is when the fat burning system kicks in. It's when we start producing what's called ketones, and it's where our body has to go look for energy, because we're not getting an immediate source from the food that we're eating, because we're technically fasting. So it needs to look for other sources, either in our liver, our kidneys, fat stores, and it will use that as immediate energy. And that's the fat burning system. So we've got these 2 systems that we need to switch in and out of, and that's what helps make metabolic switching. So say on one day you're in a sugar burning system and you're eating from like 9 a.m. till 7 p.m. at night. Then the next day you can switch into like the fat burning system, but switch into it for longer. So do something that's called like an autophagy fast, which is at least 17 hours of fasting. So you could eat from, 1 o'clock until 7 o'clock at night. Try giving yourself like an 8-hour window time of eating. And then the next day, go back to the sugar burning system. That is switching your body in and out of these 2 systems. And then that is how you are retraining your metabolism. You don't have to do this every second day, but it is wise to switch it up within the week, So I do it to my hormones, to my hormonal cycle, because pretty much as a woman, because I have to. Like, I know that when I'm in the first half of my cycle and estrogen is building, I'm going to be in more of I'm going to be eating more of a keto diet, and I'm going to be fasting a lot more. So I do like 17-hour fasts. I do that maybe like 2 days I'll do 17-hour fast. 2 other days I do like a 24, like when I do a 24-hour fast, and then I go to 17 hours, and I go in and out of those fasts. And then once I hit day 10, I lean more into like a 13-hour fast. So less fasting time, because that is like the ovulation period, and you don't really want to be doing big fasts during ovulation. Then there's a few days there where you've got a window of time where I do lean into fasting again, and I do these bigger fasts. And then from like day 20 onwards, up to when I get my period again, I don't fast. I don't fast at all. And this is creating that metabolic switching that I'm talking about. So the reason like that your diet may not be working for you is because these standard diets out there are making you, for 3 months really restricting yourself and only eating a certain amount of calories each day. And then after the 3 months, you've already trained your metabolic set point to be that standard. For 3 months, it's been doing that every single day. Like, you haven't switched it up at all. So of course, when you then jump up to a normal calories again and work out less, you're going to put the weight straight back on. And, some people are like, well, then as discipline, that you just need to have discipline. You got to not do that. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but just relying on discipline, like, it's not working, because we still have a problem out there. Like 800 million people in the world are still obese, and telling them to just be more disciplined, it's not working. So metabolic switching, this is key. Number 2 is about the foods that you eat, okay? The foods out there at the moment are packed with harmful toxins and chemicals that we don't really have any idea of what's doing to our bodies. Like, we're not told. Like, we know, like, we do have the information out there of what it is doing to our bodies, but not enough people are being told about what it's actually doing. I feel like I heard for so long, like growing up, and I was always into nutrition, and I heard for so long, like, oh my God, like there's so many chemicals and, McDonald's, and it's toxic, and I would still eat it because I'd be like, okay, well, people are still eating. Like, it can't be that bad. Like, at the end of the day, I think it's that feeling of, well, it's never going to happen to me. Like, it's not that bad. When you actually learn about it, it's insane that we're risking our health that way. And it's clever marketing. At the end of the day, it's clever marketing, because there's all this marketing out there of these products, and you're kind of like, well, they can't be that bad for us if the whole, system keeps marketing all these toxic food items. And I think we're not getting it. They don't really care about protecting us and our health. They're making so much money like you wouldn't believe. They're making so much money. Why would they want to change it? Why would they want to risk that? They're not caring about our health. They know what it's doing to our health, and they're kind of turning a blind eye to it because they don't want you to figure it out and start eating better whole foods and stuff like that, because they're going to lose money. It doesn't make sense. So these toxins that I'm talking about, there's what we call obesogens. So obesogens are in foods, and these obesogens are so toxic to us that they're actually getting into our bodies and going to our stem cells, which, remember, our stem cells are amazing at regenerating, repairing us, preventing us from aging. They're getting to our stem cells and they're reprogramming them so that our stem cells are now just storing straight fat. They're now programmed to store fat. That is what obesogens are doing. And these obesogens are in everything that's like highly processed. And I've said this before, but the system, like the FDA, they have a section, what they call as GRAS, so it's generally recognized as safe. So these obesogens, they're getting put into that category because they're kind of like, look, we don't think they're the best for you, but, they're generally safe, and we won't really know until like a further study comes out in future. So for now, yeah, I'm sure it's fine. That's what that's what it's getting put into. So that's what you're relying on. And then we also have estrogen mimickers. So there's actually these toxins in food that are estrogen mimickers. So they means they're fake estrogen. It's going into your body and your cells are taking them up and your cells are going, wait a second, this is fake. I don't want this. It's kicking it back out. Your brain's thinking, oh my God, we've got estrogen in the body. I'm going to stop producing it. So you cut off your estrogen making in your body and you've got this fake estrogen just floating about in the body. So the body will then make sure, it stores this somewhere as safe because it does, that's what your body's doing. It's doing all it can to protect you. So it stores it as fat. So this is why this isn't your fault at the end of the day. Like this is the second reason why these diets aren't working for you, because even if you're having the perfect amount of food each day, the perfect amount of calories, you're eating so well, but you're still not losing weight, it's because you could be eating these foods that are packed with these, things like estrogen mimickers that your body is actually storing as fat. Like this is what's happening and we're not getting told about this stuff. Marketing, as I said, like I hate when they market things as like low fat and stuff like that, because fat is healthy. Like we need fat, but we're too afraid of having fat because we keep thinking that means we're going to get it stored more as fat. Whereas it's such a warped way of thinking. We should actually be not worried about fat, but worried about these toxins, this crap that they're putting into the food. When you read the back of the ingredients list, like worry about those foods, not worry about the healthy fats that were already there to begin with. Like it's crazy that we'll go to a supermarket and we'll be like, oh, I've got to get low fat, like that'll, because I don't want too much fat, I don't want too much calories, something like that, because that's what we've been told for so long. But we're not picking up the item and looking at the back and looking at the ingredients and going, why does there need to be this many ingredients in a yogurt? Like, why does there need to be that much, all these different types of sugars? There'll be like maltodextrin and there'll be like, they'll say fructose and then it'll say, sugar syrup and you're just kind of like, why do you need 3 different types of sugars in a yogurt? Like, it's not needed. And why is it? It's because it's making you addicted. It's making you come back for more. So we need to, it's just crazy. At the end of the day, like I want to reiterate this again. It's not your fault. It's not your fault because clever marketing and everything that's out there is not talking about this enough. And this is why going back to number 1, metabolic switching is actually really key here, because it can help flush out these toxins. It can help us when we switch in and out of the fat burning and the sugar burning state. It can help you to release these toxins that maybe your body has actually been storing for so long over time. Okay, so number 1, metabolic set point. Number 2, the foods that we're eating are toxins. And number 3 is your hormones. You're not eating to your hormones. Especially for women, we have such a more complex hormonal structure, and we need to remember this. During a normal menstrual cycle, we'll have estrogen build, and then we have ovulation where estrogen's really high. We've got a bit of testosterone in there. Progesterone's starting to be built. All of a sudden that comes crashing down, the estrogen and the testosterone, and we have progesterone building. And that's a typical menstrual cycle. And then, not to mention like when we go through perimenopause and menopause, where we stop producing types of estrogen, like estradiol, which I'll go into next. We stop producing that and we start producing different types of estrogen, and it's a lot lower. And so we don't really talk enough about what goes on in perimenopause and menopause too, but our hormones are like forever changing for women, and we need to eat properly to those hormones. And we're not getting told about that. The standard diet, like the calorie deficit diet, you could be eating like all these foods, following this calorie deficit diet. And then when you come up to a week before your period and your body's trying to produce progesterone, and your body's saying, I need, like, progesterone thrives on glucose. It thrives on carbs, and it's saying, I need more. And you're like, you're going, well, I can't eat more. Like I'm in this calorie deficit diet. I can't do that. I can't break my diet. But you're starving, you're feeling hungry, and that's progesterone knocking on the door saying, give me more carbs. And, you're stuck in this diet. And then you quit, you end up binging, and you're blaming yourself. It's not your fault. It's because no one told you that progesterone thrives on carbs, and you actually need to change up your diet when you get to that point in your cycle. Also, the liver and the gut, they actually break down estrogen. And in order for estrogen to break down effectively, the liver and the gut need to be healthy for this to happen. So yeah, the liver and the gut actually break down estrogen in your body. And we need to focus on eating to our hormones properly for this breakdown to be happening effectively. Because if we go back to what I said before about eating like the toxic foods, you could be then harming the way your liver and your gut break it down, and you could actually be having like this toxic estrogen being broken down in your body. And there's different types that it can be broken down into, and you can actually get tested to find out like if your estrogen is being broken down effectively. But anyway, back to eating to your hormones. Like, we need to remember that estrogen actually thrives on being low insulin and low glucose. So myself, and I know a lot of women that Mindy Pals teaches out there, Dr. Mindy Pals, who's taught me all about fasting, is literally like, when you are trying to produce estrogen, you want to eat more of a keto diet. You want to have low carbs. You want to have, high protein, high fat. That's what estrogen's going to thrive on. And fasting during this time is excellent because it's where estrogen wants your insulin to be low. And remember, insulin gets produced when we eat, because we eat something, insulin will get produced to then go to the glucose from that food item, carry it into the cell. And if we do this too much, we become insulin resistant. But when we're fasting during this time, like, estrogen thrives on that and loves it. So if you're someone that's, say, not ovulating, you're finding that you're not ovulating, you're not producing. Say you could be still having a period, but you're finding you're not ovulating, you're struggling with infertility. Leaning into fasts during this time and focusing on more of a keto diet is really going to help bring back that estrogen. It's really going to help make sure that estradiol hormone helps get released, and so it can release an egg. So you are fertile enough in ovulation period, and you're ovulating. And yeah, as I said, progesterone, it thrives more on carbs. With testosterone, they actually haven't done, which is really frustrating, but they haven't done enough studies on women to find out exactly what, if there are any foods out there that actually helps testosterone thrive. There have been a few studies to show zinc really helps testosterone, but it's hard you have to kind of do this with a supplement kind of form in order to boost your testosterone levels. But yeah, there still isn't enough testing done on women. The only test that we have that's been done to show that fasting helps with testosterone, which was done on men, is that when they went into a fasting lifestyle, then it helped actually boost growth hormone, because we actually stop producing growth hormone after like 30 years of age. So these men, it means they're going to produce less testosterone after 30 years. But when they started implementing fasting, it actually helped boost this growth this growth hormone, which then helped boost their testosterone. Can we say that it works for women as well? Unfortunately, no, because no one's ever done the same test on women. So with testosterone, that's all we really know with fasting for that. But with estrogen and progesterone, we know that these foods are what help them thrive. So this is why we really need to understand our body. If you're going through menopause or perimenopause and your hormones are all over the place, or you don't have a period, you really have to kind of understand your moods and hormones and your emotions. Because estrogen, when we have a boost of estrogen, we're feeling really lively, we're feeling energetic, we feel like, we could do anything kind of. But when we have progesterone, it's real calm. It's like the chill hormone. So when you're feeling really chill, say a little bit less motivated, you want to like rug up and stay in bed all day, you could be feeling that way. When you're feeling that way, you want to have more healthy carbs. Because when I say like you want to have more carbs, I do mean healthy carbs. So, like sweet potato and potatoes, and you want to have more of that stuff. And then you don't want to go to like breads and pastas. That's not what I'm meaning. So yes, that could be another reason why your diet didn't work. So then we've got number 4. Number 4, I've created a whole episode on. Number 4 is too much stress. So when we are producing too much cortisol in the body goes into a fight or flight response. It doesn't know the different types of stress that you could be having. And as I said at the start of this episode, stress can come in many different forms, and you might not think that you're stressed when your body actually is under an immense amount of stress. You could be scrolling on your phone. You could be just doing day-to-day life, even just going to the supermarket and say it gets really crowded. You might not think that's stressful, but your body does. And your brain is signaling for your adrenals to produce cortisol, which is putting you into that fight or flight response. And it's thinking, you need to use extra energy. So here's a boost of cortisol to help you run away from that tiger or something. It doesn't know that you're actually just at the supermarket. Like your brain doesn't know the difference. So this is what happens when, we implement, say, a diet and you're thinking, why is it not working? Like I've been doing all the right things. Why aren't I losing weight? Why am I putting on weight? And it's because when our body has too much cortisol, it gets stored as fat. Our body doesn't know what to do with it, so it can get stored as fat, and especially belly fat for women. Like we'll have a lot of belly fat, and it's because we've just got way too much cortisol in the body. In saying that too, I do want to give you some tips on how to do this. How to regulate this. A really good tip is that when you get a boost of cortisol, you should actually try and use it straight away. So if you know you're feeling really stressed or you're feeling highly stressed, you should actually go for a walk. You could quickly do like 30 jumping jacks, do some squats. Try to use up that energy, because if you don't use it up, your body's got to store it somewhere. And then that's why you get those fat stores. So, when you go for a walk, look up into the sky and dart your eyes from left to right, because that actually sends a signal to your brain that you're actually searching for danger. You're actually looking left and right and going, is there danger? And your brain's going, okay, we've looked around and it's all clear, so I'll stop producing cortisol. It's crazy how it all works, isn't it? And then I do also want to talk a little bit about what's happening for those women who are going through perimenopause or menopause, or those women who don't have a period. This doesn't necessarily talk about, why your diet's not working, but I do want to say this topic because I think it's going to really help a lot of women out there understand how detrimental like having too much stress can be. So when you stop having a period and when you stop ovulating, it means you actually stop producing this hormone called estradiol. Estradiol is the hormone that helps you release an egg. So each month, estradiol releases that hormone. It comes from your ovaries, that hormone, and then that tells your body to release an egg ready for ovulating. And then when we stop ovulation, or we're not having a period, it's not happening, we stop producing estradiol, which then signals the adrenals to then produce more estrone and estriol. They're the other two forms of estrogen. So these are produced when you're no longer ovulating. So this is what is happening for those women who are menopausal. You are actually producing those two other forms of estrogen now, and it's being produced from your adrenals. But this is why you really, more than ever, have to make sure that you're not too stressed. Because when you're getting too stressed, your adrenals they're gonna prioritize producing cortisol over producing these types of estrogen. And these types of estrogen you need because it helps you feel good. It brings on the happy hormones. It makes you feel like you can do anything, makes you feel motivated, energetic. And when you're too stressed, your adrenals is going to choose producing that hormone, cortisol, then it will, while producing, then producing the other forms of estrogen. So just a little reminder for those women who aren't having a period, that you more so than ever, you're not getting that other form of estradiol. And estradiol, when that is produced, that is highly, highly powerful. So that's why when women are ovulating, they're at their most powerful state, because that hormone estradiol is so powerful. It helps us to pretty much do whatever. It's like you're so productive. You've got so much energy. You're able to problem solve, critical thinking. You're able to do it all because of that one hormone. But when you're going through menopause and everything, you don't have that hormone anymore, because your body doesn't need to release an egg anymore. So you've only got these other hormones being produced from the adrenals, which aren't as powerful as estradiol is. And it's why especially you really need to make sure you get your stress levels under control. So yes, that is number 4. Now, number 5 is pretty standard, and I feel like it doesn't get talked about enough though within this industry, and it's pretty much lifestyle. It's pretty much lifestyle and one focusing on a diet, but it's one size fits all, which is just not true. So many diets out there that you'll enter a program, or you do a program to get fit and get healthy, lose weight, whatever it is, and you do the exact same one as everyone else. How like that? Everyone is so different. Everyone has different metabolisms. Everyone has different lifestyles. Some people are morning people. Some people are, more night people. Some people have different jobs. Not one diet is going to suit all. And I have done these programs too many times to know they do not work. Like, where you get the standard meal plan, and I'm meal planning on Sundays, trying to like prep all this food for the week, and I'm wrecked because I work 9 to 5 from Monday to Friday, and and then I don't have time to eat my snacks that I planned. So I eat them when I get home, and then I try to eat dinner, and then I'm too full, and it's just crazy. And I felt like it was creating more stress in my life trying to do it that way, because I had fallen into the system of one diet, one size fits all. Everyone wants a quick fix at the moment. Everyone just wants this magic pill that'll help everything make them feel better. And unfortunately, there is no such thing. There is no such thing as one size fits all. You know, they're even now they have these weight loss drugs, and they were for a purpose, but now everyone's going to that as their magic, you know, solution, their quick fix. Yes, they're great for their purpose, but not everyone needs to go on them. But everyone's just going, well, it worked for them, it's going to work for me. And we just have to get rid of that way of thinking. And this is why I absolutely love a fasting lifestyle, because you create it to suit you. There is not, like, when I do it in my balance program and we're all doing it together in the last month, we're all going to be at different, you know, some people will be in not having a period anymore. So they're actually basing it off more so their moods and how they're feeling, and they're choosing their schedule to work with their work, how to fast towards their lifestyle. They're doing it that way. You know, some people will be focusing on it to their menstrual cycle, so they'll be doing it that way. Some people focus on that they have events coming up, so they're going to change and swap a few things around. Some people have goals where they are weight loss resistant, so they want to do a longer fast, so they're going to choose a day where they're going to do an extra long one. Whereas some people, they just want to feel the effects of having more energy, so they're just going to do like an intermittent fasting, and it's going to be a bit shorter, and they're going to do that a few times in a row and then switch in and out. Like, fasting is just one big toolbox that you can just pick and choose the tools out of to help suit your life and create that freedom once and for all, and that sustainability to actually create a healthy lifestyle. That's so easy to implement and so easy to sustain. It's just crazy that it's not talked about enough, you know. I love the fasting lifestyle because it goes everything against a one size fits all. It is everything about customization and everything about suiting to you and yourself. That's why I love it. So these are the 5 reasons why your diet may not be working for you. Number 1 is your metabolic set point. You aren't switching it up. So therefore, your body is putting all the weight back on after you did all the hard work and lost it. There's number 2 is the toxic food that you're eating. So, you know, as we said, we've got to be careful of those processed foods. Focus more on whole foods. Number 3 is your hormones and not understanding how to eat to your hormones. And number 4 is too much stress in your life and not enough focus on how to de-stress. And number 5 is focusing on diets that are one size fits all, and that is just not possible to work. So really, all of this I am going to help you and coach you through in my programs, and the things that you will learn, you will take away with you for life. And for once, you will actually have the power yourself to understand what's right and wrong for you, because you've learned how to listen to yourself and your body. I've been talking to a few women for the last couple of days, and too many of them are telling me that they're going to their doctors and they're saying they've got painful periods, you know, and they've got irregular periods, and they're just getting put on the pill. They're just getting a quick Band-Aid fix. And the problem is still there, but they don't know anymore because they've put a Band-Aid covering over it. As soon as you stop that pill again, it comes back, and it will come back worse. And you could get something worse that comes from it, but instead of working on preventative health, we're just working on quick fixes and cures. My programs are all about preventative health and finding solutions that are sustainable and that are going to help prevent you from any illnesses and diseases in the future. That's what I'm all about, and I'm all about giving women their power back. Unfortunately, the healthcare system just isn't focused on women's health as much right now, and when you go and see your doctor, it's not your doctor's fault. They literally are seeing patients back to back, so they don't have enough time to focus on things like lifestyle and hormones and stuff, because they need to help quickly just identify, diagnose and prescribe, because they've got to see their next patient, because they've got to see a certain amount of patients to make the same amount of money they made like 20 years ago. So it's not their fault, but we have to do better, and we can, by teaching women this stuff and taking the power back into our own hands and learning it through that way. So that is why I created these programs. And as I said, if you join the waitlist for balance, you will get put straight into the Facebook group. I'll leave the link in my show notes below. But with that, I will leave you all, and I hope you all have a good weekend, and I'll speak to you all in the next episode. Bye guys.